Hey guys, welcome to Pepcoding. In today's lecture, we are going to solve this problem, design circular DQ. Okay, so here let's read the question out. What the question is asking: design your implementation of the circular double-ended DQ. Okay, your implementation should support following operations. My circular DQ initializes the DQ object. Okay, my circular DQ function is initializing the DQ object. Okay, so there are some functions: insert front, adds an element, insert last, delete front, delete last, get front, get rear is empty. Okay, so let's see how what we have to do here. Okay, and it's the input. Okay, this is the input and this is the output. Let's talk about what we have to do. Okay, here I have taken the input and our input. Okay, so let's assume that we have we have made the DQ. Okay, let's say this is my DQ. Wait, let's say I have made my DQ. Okay, let's say this is my DQ. Okay, so what the question is asking, that what we have to do. Firstly, just let's understand the question. After this, we'll be seeing that how to do this question. Okay, so first of all, it is saying that insert last one. Wait. Okay, so it is asking us that what insert last one. What we have to do in this function, insert last, adds an item at the rear of the DQ. Okay, do you know that it's the if I'm going to add something from the rear, that means I have to add something from here. Fine, because rear will be here and my front will be here. Fine. If I'm going to add from front, then my element will enter through here, and if I'm going to add from the last or add from rear, then I'm going to enter from here. Fine. So yes, so let's see now, insert last one. Okay, so here are integers right now, but we have to make this as generic. It can be other characters also or anything else. Okay, so insert last one, so there is nothing initial is. Okay, so if I am going to add something, then it will add here only. Okay, let's say it's added here. Okay, after this insert last two, then what will happen to my two will insert last two, adds an item at the rear of the. Okay, it will be entering here. Okay, in the last. Okay, it's the Q. Fine. So insert front 3. What this means? This means my element, my whatever my data type is, my element will go through here, go through the front, and will be getting added in at front. Okay, so it will be adding it front here. Now my Q is like this right now. Okay, so insert front 4, same thing. I'm going to add 4 here. Okay, so get rear. Let's read out the get rear function. Gets the element, gets the last item from DQ. If the DQ is empty, return null. Okay, now what I am doing here, I have to return the last element of my DQ. What is the last element of my DQ right now? It's, you can see from here, it's 2. So I just have to return the value of this 2. Okay, fine. Okay, now let's say my output is what. Here I am going to write my output box, right? So yeah, my output is get rear. I'll be getting what? I'll be getting 2. Okay, and if my DQ is empty, I just have to return what? I have to return null from here. Okay, I just have to, right now here in my DQ there are some element present, so I have to return the value which is at last. Okay, so now let's talk about delete last. Okay, what the delete last function is asking, see, it's at the fifth, right? Deletes the last item from DQ and return its value. If the DQ is empty, return null. Fine. So what I have to do here, I just have to delete the last value. What is the last value here right now? It's 2, right? So I have to delete it and I have to return it also. So my output will be like this right now. I have deleted and I have returned it, so I have to return this value also. Okay, so get rear again. Get rear, in get rear, what I have to do, I just have to check the value and I have to just return this value, the last value. Okay, yes, so now what's happening, get rear it done is done. Okay, delete last, same thing I have to do. I have to do what? I'm going to delete my last value and I have to return it. Fine, let's say now my value is deleted. What was it? What was there? There was 1. Okay, so yeah, so I'm going to write here 1. Okay, so after this, what? Insert front 4. So I have to add this 4 from the front. So I have to add 4. Okay, so at last, what it is here, it is get front. Okay, so here is get front. So what I have to do in get front, you all know, gets the front item of the DQ. If the DQ is empty, return null. Okay, so from here, then I have to just get the item which is at first. I don't have to delete right now. Okay, so here will be 4. let's say now we haven't, in this test case there was no such no there were no every function. Okay, so let's see delete front. If let's say let's say after this there was delete front, so what we have to do, we have to delete front is deletes the front item from the DQ and return its value. If the DQ is empty, return null. Okay, so I'm going to delete this value which is at front. What was at front? 4, so I'm going to return 4 from here. Fine. So after this, what I have to do, I have to, let's say I'm going to ask get array is done, is empty, we'll do it later. Insert last is also done, insert front is also done. Okay, so let's say I'm going to delete last or something. So okay, so I have to delete it from last. Let me write first, let's say delete last. So what will I am going to get? I'm going to get first 3 and I am going to delete this last. Fine, I have to return this value also after deleting. Okay, so let's say now my function is saying delete front and last are now 4 and 4 is same, right? So what I have to do here, I have to return this 4 and I have to delete this. Now if someone asks, that delete last or delete front, let's say someone is asking delete last. See the delete last function. Delete the last item from DQ and return its value. If the DQ is empty, we have to return null. DQ is empty right now, so I have to return what? I have to return null. Okay, so there is one more function, is empty function. Check whether DQ is empty or not. If my DQ is empty, let's say I am going to call here is empty. Okay, if my DQ is empty, so I have to return true. Otherwise, if there is some element present, let's say 3 or 5, then I have to return false. Okay, so I hope you understood that what we have to do here. Let's see now that how we are going to do this question. Okay, let's say I'm going to what kind of data structures are right now, what we have read till now. We have arrays. Okay, we have array list. We know about arrays. Fine. We have array list also. Okay, we have linked list also. Okay, let's see now what we are going to do. Okay, if I am using a array, let's say I am going to use some array, and we all know that array is of fixed size. Okay, so there's no, in this question we have to, there's no such thing that this is having some fixed size or something. Okay, so it's this DQ is kind of, dynamic. It can be added. You can add as much as elements you can. So if I am going to add, let's say I have added 3 2 3 4 5 6, then if I want to add something, then I have to create a new array of, double of its size and do the thing. So this is not a good thing to do. So now let's talk about array list. Okay, yes, array list is also fine. If I want to add as much element, I can add. Okay, and it is also easy to I can also get any element from it. I can get first, I can get last, or I can remove elements. Okay, let's say also plus one more thing, that if I want to, let's say my right now my array list is like this: 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, so if I want to, I can add at last. It's really easy to add at last. Okay, it's no big deal. But if I want to add from add at front, then what we have to do, we have to shift every element. Okay, and then we have to do, so it takes some times also, and this also performs same functions like array. So there's some, possibility that there will be some kind of more time, the time come the time complexity will be more or something. Okay, so we will not be using array list here. Okay, so when we talk about linked list. Okay, so when we talk about linked list, I can see from here that it's a good thing to use. Because why? Because here it's no using some space, or we can add very easily at last or front or something. Or if let's say I'm going to use this linked list, fine. Let's say this. Okay, if I go, if I will be having a head. Okay, I will be having a tail. If I want to add something at last, I can add easily. Okay, if I want to add at something at first, so I can add easily at first. Plus one more thing what I was saying, if let's say I want to remove something, okay, then I have to iterate this, iterate this list. Fine. Yeah, so what we have to do here is if I want to add something, I have already told you I can wait. if let's say my head is here, okay, my head is here, and it's some linked list, okay, and my, let's say, tail is here, okay. If I want to add something from front, then I can do one thing easily, that I can add from first very easily, okay. If I want to add from add at last, then I can add at last easily also, okay. If I want to remove from first, then I can also remove it easily, fine. But if you see, but if I want to add, I want to remove it from remove some data from last. Let's say I want to delete this node, then I will be, I will be losing this tail element. My tail, I'll be losing it, because I can't, when I'm removing this, let's say there was something, now I'm removing this, now there will be nothing, but tail was here. I can't access my linked list from back now, I can't iterate from backside here, okay. So what we have to do here is, so there is this thing problem, okay. If I want to get my tail, then I have to iterate one by one, and I have to reach the last element, okay. So here the time complexity will be consuming as O(n), okay. I have to do an iterations here, okay, fine. So what we will be doing here, we will be just doing one thing. See what we are going to do here. What we will do, initially our linked list was what, it was single directional, okay. So now what we will be doing, let's say this is my linked list. Now I'll be having one more direction, and it will be pointing it here. One will be next, and other will be pre, fine. This next and this pre. Now if I want to remove this, I won't be losing my tail, because it was, it was pointing at pre, and I will be initially I will be saving this pre, and after this, after removing this, I'm going to update my tail as whatever I have stored earlier, okay. So this is how we have to do this, fine. So now let's try to code this, okay. So then I'll be telling you that what's going on in this question, okay. Okay guys, so let's code this, okay. So we have to code this in CPP. So initially what we have to do, firstly we have to make a node class, okay. So here I am going to make a class node, okay, plus let me do one thing, and I'm going to make it public, so that's okay. So what we have in this node class, okay, there's a data, okay, and pre node, let me sorry, first next node, and another is a pre node, okay. Yeah, so in this what we have to do is, here if there is no value, there is no value passed in this, okay. So what we have to do, initially I am going to put my data as 0. If someone has passed some value, then its value will be, what it value will be, plus here I am going to do one thing more here, that I am going to make these guys public, okay. So yeah, here I am going to make data as value, yeah, yeah. So after this what we have to do, I'm going to firstly create a dummy head, okay, and I am going to name it as head, okay. I have named it as head, and one is what, one is tail, and another is something size, okay. I have created this size, okay. Now if initially someone will call this function, okay, design my circular DQ, yeah. So what I'm going to do here is, when someone is calling my circular DQ, that means the person wanted to create this DQ, okay. So initially what will happen, I'm going to link firstly my head and tail. So I'm going to firstly create new node of head and tail, okay. Why I am writing as this, because I am going I want to use head and tail throughout this code. So here, so I am going to create this, so new head, fine, sorry, new node. I'm going to create this node, yeah, and same about the tail, okay. And after this, what I'm going to do, initially let's say nothing is there, okay, in that. Initially just I have created a DQ, some data structure, okay. So what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to point heads next to what, I'm going to point heads next to what, I'm going to point to tail, and tails pre to what, I'm going to point tails pre to head. Okay, now n plus, now initially my size will be equal to what, 0. Okay, so now my this linked list is like this. Okay, it is like this is my dummy head. Okay, and this is my dummy tail. So my linked list is in between these two, and my size is right now 0. Okay, so my sorry, my my queue. Okay, so my circular DQ is nothing right now. Okay, so it's created. Okay, so now let's talk about insert front. Okay, I'm going to tell you how we are going to insert something. Let's say my DQ is like this right now. This is my dummy head, and let's say there are 2 to 3 elements present in this queue. Okay, it's B, and this is my dummy tail. Let's say 2 elements were present. Okay, let's say this is dummy tail. Okay, so now I want to add it in front. Okay, so this is my original head, and this is my original tail, and this is my dummy tail. Okay, so now let's say I want to add a new node of data n or something, whatever. This is my new node n. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, if I want to add in between these two nodes, so what I'm going to do, see. Okay, let's decrease the size first. Okay, yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to firstly now I'm going to point ends next to this dummy's heads, to original head. Okay, so let me write firstly this thing. What I'm going to do here is, okay, yeah, what I'm going to do here is that firstly I'm going to create a new node. Okay, so my node will be like this. Node n will be equal to new node of value. Okay, and ends next, I'm going to point this ends next to what, I'm going to point towards it original head, and original head is where, heads next. Fine, because head is my dummy head now, so this is original head. Okay, and after this ends pre, I'm going to point it towards head. Fine, now I have done what work, I have done this thing. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to point original heads pre toward this node. Fine, see what I'm going to do. So my next is what, it's my original head. Okay, its pre will be where, its pre will be pointing towards my node. Yeah, and at last what I have to do, I want to point heads next towards my node. Fine, and at last I want to increase the size also, because I have added something in my list. Okay, so at last what I have did, I have pointed my dummy's heads next toward this node. So you can see I have added something. Okay, so same thing we have to do here to if I want to add it last. Okay, so what we have to do here is okay. Okay, so what we have to do here is, let's say it's something n was also here. Okay, so I'm going to do firstly same thing, ends next and ends pre towards these two, ends next towards my dummy tail and ends pre towards my original tail. Okay, so this I am going to copy this. Okay, so here I have copied. What I am going to do here is, I have created a new node n, and I'm going to point its head towards what, I'm going to point its next towards my tail. Okay, and it's pre towards what, my tails p. Okay, yeah, so this is okay. So after this what I have to do, what I'm going to do is I am going to point my original tails head towards my node. Okay, let me write this. What is my original tail? That is my tails pre. Okay, I'm going to point its next towards my node. Okay, after this I'm going to point my ends next, no, I'm going to point my dummy tails pre towards n, and at last I'm going to increase the size. So this was easy, right? Yeah, so this was easy. What I did at last, I pointed my dummy tails pre towards my node. Okay, and this node is also added. So this is how we have to add this. Okay, so this is also done. Okay, now if I want to delete something, okay, let's say I want to delete something now. Let's say this is my linked list A, and this is B, and this is C. Let's say, and I want to delete this node. So what I am going to do is, I'm just let's firstly Firstly I have to do in this what? Firstly I have to here I have to create node again. Wait, this time nodes n, and that will be equal to what? This is firstly one thing we have to do. If my size is equals to 0, if my size equals to 0, I'm going to, we have to return null, right? But in this snippet what we have done is, whenever I get this -1 value, so I'm going to return null from here. Okay, so here I am returning -1 whenever size is 0. But in the question what we have to do, we have to print the null value. Okay, so yes, so now what I'm going to do, I'm what is my front right now? My front will be what? Dummy's head next, dummy's head next. Okay, so I have to return its value. Okay, so now I want to delete something. I want to delete the n. Okay, delete head. I want to delete head. Let's say this is dummy head. Okay, now I want to delete my this head. This is my head. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, see, I'm going to call a function n of delete. I don't know what the function, what this function is. Okay, but I'm going to call it. Okay, so I'm going to return here what? I'm going to return here the value, that means data. Okay, yeah, so let's have faith in this delete function. Okay, so firstly what we are thinking here is that this delete function will delete this node. Okay, and after this I'm going to return its data. I have stored this node now, so same thing we have to do in delete last, but what we have to do here is we have to store tails pre here. Okay, yeah, so let's write this delete function here in the node class. Okay, so what we are going to do here is I'm going to create this delete function, and I am going to do what? See what I'm going to do here is, let's say this is something. Let's say I want to delete some node. Okay, and this is a. Okay, so now I have called this delete function. Okay, so this is pre, this is nodes, this is node n, and this is pre, and this is next. So whenever I am in the class, what I have to do, whenever I want to delete this, I'm going to do what? I'm going to point my pre's next to this, and my next pre to my pre. I'm going to point my pre's next to next, and next pre's to pre. This will automatically delete my b, because now pre and next are pointing to each other. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, I'm going to point my pre's next towards next, and my next pre towards pre. That's it. You have to dry run. Okay, you have to dry run this thing. Yeah, so plus one more thing I have left here. What? Whenever I am deleting something, I have to decrease the size here. Fine. Yeah, so I'm going to decrease my size here. Fine, and we have to do the same thing in get front. Okay, if the size is 0, what do we have to do? If the size is 0, we have to return -1. Otherwise I'm going to return what? I'm going to return my head's next data. Okay, and in this I have to do the same thing, but the data will be of what? Tails pre data. Yeah, this is thing. And whenever this is empty, what I have to do, I have to return when it's empty only. Okay, so I am going to return if my size is equals to 0 here. Okay, so let's run this and see if my code is correct, or it needs some correction. Yes, it needs some correction. Yeah, so let's see what's going on. Node pre, here I haven't. Okay, now let's run this again. 24th node pre, 24th line, where it is, node head, node tail. What? Wait. Oh yes. Here I haven't. Yep, let's now run this. We make class like this now. Now size. What about size? Yeah, you have to declare it is as integer also now. What are you doing? Okay, now it's accepted. Let's try to submit this and see if all the test cases are getting passed. Yes, all test cases are getting passed. So what we have to do is okay, so yeah guys, I hope you understood this question, and please try on this problem once again. Okay, now then you will be able to understand this very quickly. Okay, so I hope you understood this video. If you are having any doubt, please watch this video again, and if you like the video, please hit the like button, and please share and subscribe our channel. Okay guys, so okay, thank you, take care, bye bye, see ya.